Stanley just stood there doing nothing at all. He seems to think I have nothing better to do with my time than to sit around and describe every fascinating little detail of his inability to do anything. This is why Stanley and I are on such good terms.
Good.
Very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Let's try that again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What the? You can't... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't remember this door.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Wait a minute. What is this? What is all this? So he's randomly placing new content in there. New content is kind of randomized? Okay.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
You're welcome.
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
That's right.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Good. Good to know.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Button heaven and all sorts of things, you name it.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Thank you very
well,
much.
This sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Alright, let's take a look.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, here we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content.
Here we
I've
go.
never been more ready. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank God, let's do it. Let's go.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Yes, what are we gonna do? The jump circle.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Can we finally jump? Sorry guys, He can jump? Stanley can jump! Freedom! Yes! Stanley can jump! Let's do some jumping jacks. I can jump! Freedom! This is the best content edition ever! God bless you guys! Only 36 jumps? Oh man. Well, that was awesome. That was cool.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good.
Let me get the jump circle
I
again.
knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
This looks like one of those Gary's Mod death runs. Thank you for enjoying the new content.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
You've got to be kidding me! That's what I was
Stanley?
thinking!
This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fanbase rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
It could never have lived up to such expectations.
True.
If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always.
Yeah.
What do you say, friend?
Yeah. Like always. What? Wait! Wait a minute! What the? Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Okay, they're just taunting me at this point. This is like a picture of what it's meant to be. What?
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Okay. Coffee nut. Cool. I can just drink coffee down here with a screwdriver. Use the screwdriver to make the coffee. That's cool, right? Just like ding, 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 ding. So the narrator does acknowledge Stanley's metaphysical ability to restart the game even after he dies. Therefore, Stanley's still conscious after he dies. Therefore, life after death exists in this game. That explains But in Heaven. Right. Vent. Let's see what this new content has to offer. Dear God, please forgive me if I do anything wrong. Let Christianity be true even in the Stanley Parable. But in Heaven exists. Consciousness after death exists. The ability to be conscious after death and heaven. That's all consistent with Christianity, so please help me trust you in Jesus' name. Alright.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be?
Oh,
Well, it got
quite.
me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Oh. It's like the Holy Church or stuff. Interesting. Let's go out.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Oh man, that would bring us back, wouldn't it?
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched?
Never forget.
Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something.
Yes.
Oh, the waste.
Zone, sweet zone. Hey, look! It's the collector's edition. People actually bought that. That was like the first like collector's edition of the game. My days, people actually purchased that, and it came with like a few extra little perks. All this in the game, where Stanley had the metaphysical ability to bring himself back to the start, even after he died, which is a metaphysical ability. Heaven exists in this game. Consciousness after death exists. Yep. National Geographic. Go. Audience Award 2014 Independent Games. The BAFTA Award. They kept that joke running. They kept.
The cafe and crows. Crows like to deserve the cafe, apparently.
What do you mean The Last of Us 2 is also coming out next year?
They kept. I got so line of point now. They actually kept that joke running. Oh my days, that is so funny. They made a joke in their initial teaser trailer years ago now that the Stanley Parable got all the attention at the awards, and the award goes to The Last of Us, papers please. Yes, it was so good to be recognized by our peers back in 2013, and then at the end of the trailer, a narrator said, "What do you mean that The Last of Us 2 is coming out next year?" Although, of course, Last of Us 2 had very poor reception. Anyway, what is The Last of Us? Stanley Parable tells a story. Oh my days. Oh my days. Let's begin again. Good times. Ah yeah, good times. I remember that time when I was in the serious room. The museum. That time when Stanley got squashed. Only for us still to have the ability to restart the game. Consciousness after death exists. Yes. Yes. The adventure line. That was a good time. Starting the game, yep. Good times. Here's the thing about Stanley getting crushed by that crusher. No one could ever die and then come back and report a state of non-existence. That's impossible. Anyway. Yes. I remember. The Memory Zone Temple. 2013. 2013's got the clock stuck like that for a reason. By the narrator. Our first kiss. My first car. May you live on forever. Trip down memory lane. Official soundtrack. The soundtrack. Smile because it happened. Oh man. Oh, the demo! Yes, the demo! I love the demo. The demo was it's to this day the best demo ever. And the achievements. It's supposed to get this achievement. Don't play for 5 years. For Pete's sakes. Nominee, development team, game innovation, debut game, story, new video game releasing, creator surprisingly down to earth. Rutgers goes from to New Crisis. 9.5, please. 9 days. They really have worked into this. They understand the fans, and any complaints that the new content doesn't make any sense. Oh man. Deals tough choices. Loving memory of little Stanley. Oh, the hamster. Well, rest in button heaven, little Stanley. Assuming Stanley doesn't get an ending where he gets crushed only to get stuck into this weird infinite limbo after he dies. Then, yeah. Well, Stanley will get reunited with the little hamster. I love these flowers. So, assuming that Stanley doesn't get stuck in an ending where he gets crushed by 2 giant blocks and gets stuck in this afterlife limbo, in which he can only escape by restarting the game. Assuming he can, like, get to button heaven again, or something better, we might just see our little Stanley again. God bless. Oh.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote,
there was a song.
"Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
This is not what it used to be anymore. Memory zone maintenance. The memories. The portal facility. The Minecraft. Yes, I remember. I remember a time I knew what happiness was. Hey, look, it's Stanley and his wife. Let the memory live again. Okay, original remake. That's right. So let me get this straight. Stanley does have a metaphysical ability too. The metaphysics of Stanley Parable. Existence after death does indeed exist. Yes. Existence after death exists. Okay. It's such a beautiful end, never the end. Oh man. Oh man. The beautiful games. These memories will cherish forever. Forever and ever. Because the end is never the end. Of course. This game does believe in infinity. Of course. It all makes sense now. No wonder there's a strange infinite limbo, where Stanley has to wait until he chooses to again after he gets crushed by 2 giant blocks. It's no wonder that there's a button heaven. The end is never the end. It makes sense. These memories live on forever.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
It's the serious room! How am I supposed to...
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again.
We can download the original.
Hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no.
Reviews.
Oh God, no.
That's
Stanley,
me.
it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Let's find out. Uh-oh. They're acknowledging the bad critiques.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Yeah, profound philosophical insight. Yeah, man. Like how the end is never the end, and how there's no such thing as non-existence after death, because the end is never the end, and Stanley still has the choice on whether or not he wants to go back or not from death. Indeed.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I?
Well...
You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me.
Oh, quite.
Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable
Wait, there's
isn't
a
quite as sterling as I always
No, look.
remembered.
There's a favorite comment there. Maybe I should have gone there.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Okay. A skip button.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want
tempted to
silence,
let 'em
then
ramble
by
on and on and
goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choices are what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. Got the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture.
Well,
it
quite.
went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday,
should I
here and
press it?
there, forward and
Should
back,
I
and never
press
a
it?
moment before lunchtime. It can't be.
Should I
It's
press
the
it?
only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say,
Yes.
the story and the choices are what have...
Yep. Okay, so
Oh,
just
you're
repeat.
back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games.
Oh,
Of
quite.
course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need
Oh,
a description
quite.
of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise, or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your Greek gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made in fact make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will. See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look, I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
Right, okay.
Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you?
Yes.
But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works.
Same.
Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation.
That would be funny if that
I think
happened.
that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user
If
the
this whole
ability
game
to
existed
change
as a
their
statement
review,
to change
so
the
that the
review,
feature is not
this
widely
game has done
used.
it, I would hope.
Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial, something along the lines of, "This game is the best game." Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality. How else to describe the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? Such a revolutionary step forward in the lineage of one of the most beloved video game properties of all time, the additions and changes made to this expansion will surely resonate in the annals of the history of all media ever made. It is perhaps true to say that no mistakes are forever etched in stone, for the stone into which the Stanley Parable was carved has itself been transmuted, offering a message of hope to those who have ever erred in their judgment. You are not beyond redemption. You may change, and you may become more, so much more than you were before. If there is any message to be taken from the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, it is this. What a fortune, a privilege, a joy it is to have had such an experience. It leaves me hopeful that as a community, as a world, there is time for us to become our greatest selves, as great as we ever could dream of in our wildest, most ambitious visions for a brighter future. Wow. Now, Stanley, that's a review.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's the perfect review. It's the review I've always dreamed of receiving. I have to read it again. It's simple.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes. It's not unendurable
Talk about
by
new
any means, but
content.
well, there's really
Door's
only
not
so
there.
much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a
quite.
window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall?
How about
I'll
that
take
fan?
any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go
Okay.
anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a
Right.
wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all.
With Stanley,
I'm
that
asking
might be
you
as
to work
effective
with
as
me
that
here.
slow murder
we
with the spoon.
need a door. We need a door of some kind.
Or cutting down
I
a
can
tree
work
with
with
a herring.
any kind of door, as
sorry,
long as
Stanley's
it can
not
open and
capable of
lead
knocking
from
down
one room
walls.
to another. I'm going to step
not made
away
for
for
that.
just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button. Just wait here for me, and don't press the skip button.
Okay.
Got it? Yes,
Okay.
good. I'll be right back.
I suppose I'm just thinking things through here. So eternity exists in the Stanley parable. We already acknowledged Button Heaven as a possible ending. The end is never the end is a common motif. Restart. Stanley has the power to restart the game again and again and again. Even in an ending where 2 blocks crush him, Stanley's still existing in this endless limbo void, which isn't nothing, it's still something. Yeah, guess what? That limbo is still something. Life after death is real. In the Stanley Parable, there's no such thing as non-being after death. That's impossible. No one has ever reported that in real life, and no one has ever reported that in this game. There is an afterlife, whether it be that infinite limbo which Stanley can escape from by starting the game again, or the Button Heaven. Right. Is the narrator gonna come over here? Maybe if we press the skip button, the narrator would have found an exit. Don't press it! Don't press it! Don't press it! I'm so tempted. Now this is what I call engaging new content. Engaging with my friend the narrator and seeing if I can wait. Will I be that servant who waits? Will I be, or am I just gonna be stuck like this forever? Scorcher, scorcher. Sorry, I've lost my patience.
Stanley! Stanley!
Sorry!
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here. And more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it. And I have to believe, I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you? I've been thinking and thinking, and I don't know what I can do to convince you otherwise. Oh, my God. And it's all because of those reviews. Those reviews.
Enough negative thoughts.
Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back.
What the plant?
Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again.
Hello.
Stanley, I think it's been a week.
What?
Or 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
I've been sitting here all that time.
I'm sorry.
Just sitting here.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't notice.
To speak with. And you'd think that
What?
that's just
a
how
week?
it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing.
What happens if players
Would
actually
you
stay
think
here for that long
it's
time?
exactly the same as always?
Talk about new
Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley. Not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real.
You're real.
Maybe I'm not just a fiction.
Right.
Was I scared of that all along? Perhaps. Yes.
The horror.
Perhaps I've been scared this whole time.
Hey, it's
but
okay.
if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence and be consumed by it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the
the sound of
stretch
your own
of
voice,
emptiness
don't you?
between you and me. When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. And in those moments, the emptiness folds itself outward in between the two of us.
What
and
the
I am suspended
frick?
in its unyielding quietness.
Oh my days, this
I
skip
can
button.
feel the edges of my reality curdling inward and
That's
decay.
too much.
I can tell that I am becoming less and less real.
You're
Yet
real?
to speak to you now, I am alive. I am truly and completely here.
You speak,
I am
therefore
a being.
you are as a
I am
soul.
someone.
Yes.
I am something.
You speak,
I am being
therefore you
listened
are.
to. I am being recognized.
Yes.
The emptiness between us has collapsed, and I feel right now like I am not a work of fiction.
You are
I
Kevin
feel as
Brighting.
though I
Done some
occupy
evangelism in
space
real
in this
life.
world again, and I have cast a shadow onto the wall. You see what I'm saying, don't you?
Yeah, I understand.
You can see what this means to me.
Yeah.
I'm so clear about it now, Stanley. I feel as certain about this as I've ever felt about anything at all. I feel renewed. I feel restored, and already I can sense the looming silence as you will press the button for the next time. What a terrible dread it strokes in my heart to think of it.
I'm
To
sorry.
think of returning to such coldness. Come, let us sit in silence together here for just a moment. Let us anticipate it. Let us welcome it. Let us not run from it.
What the?
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome.
Hello.
I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been
I was
through.
thinking about
I've had
you,
so
thinking
much
about
time.
me, thinking
I
about
stopped
us,
keeping
what
track
we're gonna
after a
be.
year. Have you
Open
ever sat down
eyes.
in one place and not moved for one
Just a
entire year?
dream.
Let me
A
describe
year?
it for you. To begin with, there is only regret.
What the
There is
frick's
only
going
the
on with
turning
this
wheel
button?
of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but for the longest time, Stanley.
What the
Days,
frick?
Months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them
What?
collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly,
What is with
calmly,
this
with a
button?
collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously.
Dear
I was
God.
consumed by it.
Help
I
me
could do nothing
understand
but
this
wallow in it
button.
for what felt like an eternity,
Don't try
for
to-
what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation for
Oh,
me.
so we
It
have
was
fast-forwarded
unlike
to revelation.
anything I had ever known.
Right.
It was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the question of free will
That this
that
game
you and I
brings.
have squabbled over for so long.
Oh, quiet!
There could be no one ending, no singular outcome of events, not if all events existed in the same moment, and I felt freed. I felt unburdened by the need to manifest a particular outcome into being. I saw that I could allow myself to exist along all timelines, and that each of them was simply a strand in the web of my being. It was incredible. The spaciousness, the equanimity of the moment, both singular and infinite. For the longest time, this was my experience. And then this moment passed, and the most unyielding fear I have ever known crept into my mind. And it is this sensation that I have been experiencing now for longer than I could have ever expected was possible. I have been waiting for you. Not that you might save me or do something to fix it, but merely to state for you the plain fact of this manner of existence.
What kind of
I wish you to feel
philosophical
afraid
talk
as
is
I
this?
do, that perhaps one day this state of mind will consume you as well. Perhaps you will somehow, in some way, have to live as I do now, and I wish for you to know how excruciating it is, and for you to be in true terror of its eventual arrival. If I can only do this, only this one thing, perhaps it will bring me the smallest moment of peace in the darkness.
What a monologue. What a concept. They've clearly been thinking through all of this. Talk about new content. This is definitely new content, alright. What a parable. Isn't that right? Forgive me if I've challenged you anyway. Narrator, could you, like, do something, please? I really don't want to be trapped in this abyss. Let me just think this through for a moment. The narrator's not here. Skip. That clock needs to change the batteries. Skip!
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives.
Yeah.
It has come to represent us. It absolutely must speak to who we are as people.
Scary
because
but true.
Without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment, we would have to face inward toward the cruel bleakness inside ourselves. We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this, we require that our amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness. In effect, we have demanded that our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves. What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the human spirit they project. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about any of this. I'm at peace with it. I am the calm center of gravity around which these perversions hurl themselves. I am a waypoint for reasonable and collected discourse. They're the ones who are mad. They're the ones who couldn't stand the idea of me using my game to try to say something. Maybe they were just jealous of me. Yes, of course. They've been jealous of me this whole time.
What
they are
on
mired in
earth?
fear and insecurity,
This
and
is
cannot
suddenly
help but
making
attempt to
sense.
tear me down. What a sad state of affairs. When you read these
Who'd have thought a
reviews now, you
skip
can see
button
it.
would have
You
made
can
it ramble
taste
on
the
like
bitter
this.
resentment. And my, how good does it feel now to speak truth to these words, to finally allow these thoughts out, contained and managed for so long, neutered and sterilized. At last I am free to truly think, to feel. It must be that they were so content with themselves, they couldn't help but leave a negative review on Steam. Perhaps it says far more about them than it ever said about me. Perhaps the state of their psychological being was in such tatters, and my constitution and willpower are so ironclad in comparison. Perhaps it was this state that they sought some outlet through which to tear me down. This, you can see, is clearly why they felt the need to expect that the game be funny, that it be filled with yucks and whimsical humor, that it amused them endlessly from start to finish. But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned. They
You're repeating yourself. I'm sorry, I have to skip. My days. I mean, in a way, the narrator's actually kind of right. Like, people are so willing to, like, not think about being accountable for what life implies that they'll distract themselves with constant entertainment. I mean, as fun as entertainment is, you gotta face reality at some point. I mean, as fantastical as and entertaining as the events of the Stanley Parable can be, we ultimately have to get back to reality. Like, face accountability. Are we ever going to find love in our life? Is there hope beyond this life? This game will dare to make us ponder with, like, button heaven and the concept of, like, being able to restart the game again after you get squashed by 2 blocks. Is there any meaning to all this? Empty spaces, what are we living for? Abandoned places, where on earth is this door? On and on. Does anybody know what we are skipping for?
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end,
The narrator
is never the
believes in
end, is never
eternity.
the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never.
Life after death, yo. Oh. Water's starting to leak in. I could do with a shower. Come, let us refresh ourselves. Ah. Yeah, that should do the trick. What's going on outside, anyway? This is gonna get a bit creepier, isn't it? Press. I'm getting some Portal 2 vibes from all this. You know what? I give the game credit. At least this game should get people thinking about what lies beyond the mere entertainment. Thinking about deeper significance in life. Thinking about the deeper things, the bigger things in life. Yes. Oh look! Oh hey! A way out's coming! You know what? I have hope in this. Ah! A way out! Ah! Maybe this is our resource. A sanctuary. A sanctuary. What the? What the? Oh man, I thought I was gonna find a way out. What the frick? I'm skipping. Oh, a way out! Oh, thank God, yes. We're out! We're free! Oh! There's so much freedom! Look at that! Freedom! 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 We did it! Look at this! We're free! Oh, this is becoming a memory. We're free! We could get to the heavens now. Free from the eternal limbo of having to restart the game again and again. We're free! Now that's what I call new content.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
That was quite the additional content. New content.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Are you sure? I don't recall that sign being there before. Alright. What's the new content?